We're just days away from the premiere of The Defenders on Netflix, so I thought no better time than now to do a ranking of my top 5 favorite Netflix original shows. So let's do it. Welcome to Durbania, I'm Durbin, and this is my ranking of my top 5 favorite Netflix shows. I'm really excited to dig into this and rank these shows, and Netflix is cranking out a lot of really good stuff. So if there's something that's not on my list and you think it should be there, let me know about it. Give me your top 5 in the comments below. I look forward to having conversations with you about our top 5 favorite Netflix shows. So here we go. Number 5.
Me imaginei do lado de lá.
3%. I seriously saw no previews or promos for this show whatsoever. I was just seriously browsing the Netflix catalog. I went into their original series, area, and I was just looking at things to watch, and I saw the 3%, I read the description, and it intrigued me. So I hit play. This show was addicting. Laura and I were watching it, and from the first episode onward, we really just could not stop. It was just so interesting. I mean, it's I don't know if I want to call it a post-apocalyptic world, but it's definitely a very different world than ours. And it's just this poor and dilapidated world, but there's this island, which is paradise. So only 3% of the population could leave this poverty-stricken, bad area and go over to this paradise area. And it was just such an interesting show, the way it brought people into these enclosed spaces and was testing them to see if they are 3% material, that if they are the 3% that can move over to the paradise island. And so as you're watching the show, you get really attached to these characters. And so I was always wondering which character was going to get eliminated this week. And sometimes they'd be eliminated, sometimes they'd die. I mean, it was just interesting what they did with this show. And I was just always curious, who are the 3% gonna be? Where is this show gonna go? And so there was just a lot of really interesting relationships. There's a lot of really interesting character things. A lot of very interesting things in this show. It was definitely a surprise for me, especially going into the show 100% blind, not knowing at all even what it was until I hit play on that first episode. I think that was one of the big things that, really got me. It was just the complete surprise of what this show was. So 3% definitely in my top 5. I really enjoyed this one. Number 4.
One nation under wood.
House of Cards. This is a show that has just been one of my favorite shows since its beginning. Yeah, for me, it's had a slow season here and there, but otherwise, I think this show is amazing. And what really continues to sell me on this show is Kevin Spacey as Frank Underwood and Robin Wright as Claire Underwood. Those two are scary together. They are absolutely scary. First off, just in the first couple seasons, it's really scary how Frank Underwood, without a single vote, continues to prop himself up. And without one vote, spoilers ahead, without one vote, he becomes the president of the United States, by the end of season 2. It's just one of those incredible, freaky things. And then as the show continues to go on, you get to see the darker side of Claire Underwood as thing. And you get to see that darker side of her come out here and there. And a lot of places you get to see, while Frank has a lot of brains, he's got a lot of the know-how and can really make things happen. Sometimes you look at Claire and you're like, man, she really is the brains behind this operation. She's the glue that keeps Francis together through all of this crazy stuff that's going on. And then where last season goes, oh man, if you haven't watched it yet, I won't go ahead and spoil that. But there's a lot of fascinating things going on with Claire Underwood that has kind of taken the drama of House of Cards and turning it on its head. So the one thing I like about this show is it continues to throw you. At least for me personally, the way they end each season, I'm just all right, whatever, I'm hooked. I gotta see what they're gonna do next year.
Lucky for them, they have me.
House of Cards has kind of just been that for me consistently, and again, the best parts of it that keep me coming back, it's gotta be Robin Wright and Kevin Spacey. The way those two play the Underwoods, it's just amazing. Number 3.
I'm taking you to prison.
Well, good luck with that. I'm armed.
So am I.
Child's play.
Adorable.
Is that a harpoon gun?
A series of unfortunate events. I really like this show. Part of what made me really love this show, though, is having read the books first. And then I reread the first 4 books right before the show because I knew that's what the show was going to be based off of, the first 4 books. I was kind of nervous because for me, the biggest weakness of the Jim Carrey movie is it's one movie and it took the first 3 books and it shoved them together into a series of zany Jim Carrey-esque events.
Inventing your own word shows creativity and vision.
It's not that Jim Carrey did a bad job. He was a great Count Olaf. It's just, that's just kind of what it felt like. It just felt like they took the 3 books, kind of mushed them together, and it kind of lost what made the book special. And then you get into this show where you actually have time to spend on each individual book, and I feel like where it departs from the exact letter of the book, it goes with the true spirit of the book. And so watching this show was absolutely amazing. Neil Patrick Harris is just amazing. He had a few Barney Stinsonisms and his Count Olaf portrayal from, How I Met Your Mother, but that didn't really bother me so much. I mean, I really like Neil Patrick Harris and the different characters that he can play, and the way he did Count Olaf, it was just amazing. It fits so well. And like I said earlier, just because it's a TV show, so they get more time and it's 2 episodes per book, so they have more time to spend to make sure they're really getting the heart of the book in there. That's what I enjoyed the most about it. If you have not watched a series of unfortunate events, just watch it. It is a good show. Number 2. Stranger Things, you have to understand, is one of my favorite TV shows of all time. That show is fantastic on every single level, and I'm looking forward to re-binging season 1 right before season 2, because that is my plan. My plan is to re-binge season 1, so I'm 100% refreshed before I go into season 2 and start doing reviews and talking about it, and I so can't wait to do that. But Stranger Things, it just blew me away. A year ago, my mom and sister came out to visit from Ohio, and we were just looking for something fun to watch, and we saw Stranger Things on the Netflix queue, and we're just like, well, we've heard so much hype about it. Let's just hit play and check it out and see what this really is. And we couldn't stop. We sincerely could not stop watching it. The only reason we did stop watching it is because my mom and sister had just come from Ohio to California and had jet lag, and they had to go to bed. Otherwise, if there was no jet lag or 3-hour time difference, I'm willing to bet we would have binged the whole thing in a night, because we seriously were incapable of stopping. So we got through it in 2 days. That show is incredible. It's doable because it has so few episodes, but each episode is just so important. It's so crucial. Everything this show did, it did it right. Straight from the music choices to the feel, the way they just play with the 80s feel and that whole era. Like, they just do such an amazing job on every single level of this movie. I mean, they just nailed it, with this whole world that is like just beyond the skin of our world. And oh my gosh, the creatures and things that were out there, and then the people doing the experiments and trying to open the door to this other dimension. I mean, it just got it for me on every level. I mean, on some levels it felt like a horror thing, and it just got me on there. Other levels it was a straight up sci-fi thing, and it got me there. And other levels it was all my favorite 80s style things, like the Goonies, just kind of thrown into it, and it was amazing how well they balanced all of those tones, and it was just such a great show. I love Stranger Things. I cannot wait for season 2. Honorable mentions. So before we hit my number 1, here are some of my honorable mentions. Honorable mention number 1 is the OA. This was actually a surprisingly good show. I did almost give up on it because it is a little weird. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you, it's a little weird. It feels a little slow in some parts, but it was interesting enough with its story and what it was doing that I was like, you know what, I'll stick around. Plus, I mean, he had Jason Isaacs in it, and I think he's a pretty good actor, and he's a really great villain. I mean, come on, look at Harry Potter.
You lost me, my servant!
It is very weird, but I thought it was good, and I thought it was worth sticking it out. And I'm looking forward to see what's going to happen in the next season? Luke Cage, Jessica Jones, and Iron Fist. Those 3 shows are all really good, but all those 3 shows also have things about them where I just kind of watch them, like, yeah, some of that stuff was only okay, but some of this other stuff over here was really great. But as a whole, I really do like those 3 shows. I really like what Netflix and Marvel are doing and how these movies take place in the MCU. So I kind of wish the movies would acknowledge their existence, or how cool would it be if Robert Downey Jr. just showed up on one of these shows? It would be awesome. No, Tom Holland as Spider-Man. I mean, that's right in his neighborhood. That would be awesome. Can you picture that? Oh, are you listening, Netflix? Whatever it costs, just get it done. Tom Holland, Spider-Man in one of these shows. That would be amazing. Anyway, like, I really like what they've done. I really like how it's set in that universe, and that's just sort of the backdrop of where they are, and I just think that's really cool. So I really love what Netflix has done with Marvel with these shows. Number 1.
This darkness is the light.
I'm just trying to make my city a better place.
Daredevil. Flippin' love Daredevil. And one of the reasons that Daredevil takes my number 1 spot, I mean, clearly, I love the superhero genre. I just absolutely love it. And the superhero genre is a genre full of reboots. Oh, we messed up? Okay, recast everything and reboot everything. So yeah, we had the Ben Affleck Daredevil, so this would mean this is definitely a reboot and a reintroduction. And as far as that goes, this thing did an amazing job reintroducing us to Matt Murdock, the Daredevil. And I just love what they did with this character. I love the actor that's playing him. I love that we get to meet the other characters and get to know them, like Foggy Nelson. Like, I didn't feel like we got time with Foggy in the Daredevil movie, but Foggy has become a character who is just awesome to me. I love that character so much, and he's just one of those people that makes this show so great. And then we have Wilson Fisk. Oh my gosh, the Kingpin. That dude oh man, he deserves a jump into the movies just so he can be a Spider-Man villain with Tom Holland. What I liked what they did with season 2, we kind of divided it in half. The way they did Punisher here at the beginning of season 2 of Daredevil, it got me interested in Frank Castle. It got me interested in who this character is and then wanting to dig a little deeper. So all that to say is I really like this version of the Punisher. I like this reboot of the Punisher. I like how they brought him into this universe. It was just awesome. And then the second half of the season, we get to meet Elektra, which was also really incredible. I mean, I was not a fan of that Elektra movie that came out some years ago. I liked that less than the Daredevil movie. So to see them take Elektra and reboot her and make her just an amazing character and an awesome force to be reckoned with on this show, that was just incredible. But what deepened the thing with Elektra was a real deep introduction to the Hand, which now as we're getting into Iron Fist and getting closer to the Defenders, we're seeing what a huge role the Hand is playing in this, and I'm very much looking forward to seeing where things are going to go with the Hand, because they've introduced a lot of very curious plot lines with the Hand and Daredevil Season 2 that have gone unanswered, and I really cannot wait for the Defenders so that they can be answered, because I want to know what in the world is going on. They also did a nice setup with Iron Fist that brought us deeper into the Hand, and so now I got to know. So I cannot wait for the Defenders and see where they're going with that. And because for 2 full seasons, it has been this strong for me, I cannot wait to see where the Defenders is going to deepen this and where it's going to take it, and I cannot wait for a 3rd solo season of Daredevil and see what they're going to do with that and where it's going to go from there. Like, I just feel like Netflix is doing a fantastic job with these Marvel properties, and in particular, Daredevil. Like, I just was never a big Daredevil fan, and now thanks to this show, I'm a huge Daredevil fan. Like, I'm looking forward to seeing where all this stuff is going to go. So there it is. That is my top 5 list of my favorite Netflix shows. What are some of your favorite Netflix shows? Make sure to let me know in the comments while you're there. Hit that subscribe button to become a Durbanian. Next to the subscribe button is that bell. When you click that bell, you'll be notified the moment I drop new videos and all kinds of cool things like that. Also, something cool you can check out is my Patreon page, and I'd be very grateful if you check that out. It's just a fantastic way to support Durbanian, support what I'm doing here, and it alleviates some of the burden off me and gives me freedom to do greater things that I would love to dive into. So check that out on my Patreon page, and I just want to say a huge thank you to all those who are supporting me on Patreon. And this week you might see a little less videos from me because my mom and sister are coming out to visit for 12 days, and you know, family first, and I'm looking forward to their visit. It's gonna be a good time, but I will have some stuff coming out, and Defenders might be, my review on that might be a little delayed, but it will come nonetheless. So if Fear not. Anyway, I'm Durbin. Thank you for checking out Durbania.